The first major test in this year's presidential primaries will take place on March 3rd, known as Super Tuesday. That's when primaries will take place in 14 different states, including Texas and California, but also here in Massachusetts. To explain how people in Boston can make their votes count is the interim commissioner from the Boston Election Department, Eneida Tavares. Thank you very much for being with us, Commissioner.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, we have to tell people about the deadlines because they're coming up pretty soon, right?
Absolutely. The voter registration deadline is coming up on February 12th, which is less than a week away.
Now, a lot of people might say, well, I voted in past elections, or at least the last presidential election, but if people have moved in the interim, do they need to check on this to make sure they're registered?
Absolutely. They should check their status to make sure that they're registered in the correct location. There's still time to update their voter registration. If they want to change their party because it is a primary, they want to also check their status well in advance to make sure they meet the February 12th deadline.
We should tell people about changing parties here because, number one, even if they don't want to change from one party to another, they might be unenrolled. So what do they have to do if they want to vote in one of these primaries?
So if they're unenrolled, they get a choice at the polling location. So when they show up on election day, they have to state which party ballot they'd like to receive, and then right then and there, they'd be offered whichever ballot is available, which is Democrat, Republican, Green, Rainbow, and Libertarian for this upcoming election. And they don't get enrolled in that party, they will remain unenrolled for the life of their registration until they change it.
What if people are not going to be here and they need to cast an absentee ballot, or if they had some access issues, what should they know?
Absentee ballots are available for the presidential primary. You have to meet one of three qualifications, which is you have to be absent from your city on election day, have a physical disability which prevents you from going to your polling location, or have a religious belief. So you can apply by mail, or you can come to our office during normal office hours, and we will have absentee ballot available to you. The deadline for absentee voting is noontime on March 2nd, which is the day before the election.
And one thing I guess is new for a presidential primary, we're going to have early voting this year too, right?
Yes, so we have 5 days of early voting before the presidential primary. Early voting will start on February 24th and run through February 28th, which is a Friday. City Hall will be the main early voting location, with voting from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday and Friday. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be there from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Additionally, we'll have neighborhood pop-up sites on Tuesday and Thursday, which will be open from 12 to 8. And they can find a list of early voting sites on our website, boston.gov/early voting.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Eneida Tavares from the Boston Election Department. Commissioner, a lot of people might think that it's not a big deal what happens in Massachusetts. We're going to be focused on other states, maybe, almost as if Massachusetts is never taken seriously in presidential primaries. So why should people in Boston, no matter what party, bother to come out and vote?
One, because it's your constitutional right, and two, because there are contested races in every party ballot that's available. And if there's anything that the last election has taught us, is that every vote counts. So it's very important that we get the participation numbers up.
Now, Chris, the other thing is that the fact that you vote for anybody means you probably have to spend some time, thinking about it, gathering information. I guess it's good for people to do that, isn't it?
Absolutely. You definitely want to be prepared when you enter the voting booth on election day.
By the way, for people who are going to be newly registering, is there anything they should know about what they need to do? Because people hear a lot of, well, you need to show that you're a citizen or something, you need some paperwork, or what do people need to do exactly?
Our election officers are very well trained, so in Massachusetts we try to make it as simple as possible. It's just as easy as them showing up on election day. As long as you're registered to vote and you've met the deadline, you show up on election day. We'll have election officers there to assist if anyone should need the assistance.
And finally, Commissioner, we should mention one more time the deadline for getting registered and where people can get some more details.
So the deadline for the voter registration, again, is on Wednesday, February 12th. You can get more information on the voter registration deadline or absentee voting on our website, which is boston.gov/election.
Thank you very much for being with us, Interim Commissioner Eneida Tavares.